We're live. Hello and welcome to the Saturday night stream of the Untitled Anarchist Seagull channel. Starting a little bit late today, but what else is new? And as usual, get things kicked off with a little bit of rapid. Hello, Coltron5. Remind me, were you here? Did you pay a visit a couple of weeks ago? I feel like your name is familiar, but I'm also rubbish with names, so I could be confusing you with someone. And also, how's the audio? Righto. Right, get this started with a nice little bit of Ingle. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I remembered. The name sounded kind of familiar. How you doing tonight? Nice to see you again. Right, getting some English opening action going on. No sign of bishop c4, c5 rather, so no need to hold off on e4. Not bad at all. Had a bit of a work marathon this past couple of days, but that has mercifully ended, at least for the next couple of days, so get a bit of a breather. Right. Oh. That's castle. 내 가슴 속에 이 노래 나에게 믿고 살 Okay. Game's getting off to a reasonably standard start here for me. Okay, get that bishop flankered. And a lot of writing as well this week. All this wonderful shit that the BBC's been putting out. Absolutely horrifying, really. Left me feeling driven. Which is how it is with me in writing. It comes in bursts. Interesting. Okay, this is a bit complicated now. Oh, well, pin on my It's in Korean. Well, I will say you are really not missing anything when it comes to the lyrics. The music itself I like. The lyrics get very, very repetitive. Okay. Okay, this is actually kind of a nice little position because this... I can just go straight to, D5, which is exactly where I want my knight. Ooh. Really? Oh, this could be fun. Okay, I'm really liking this position. I don't think I've seen it before. I mean, that pawn on G5 certainly isn't long for this earth. Okay, what do I want to do? Ooh, well, I want to get mate. I almost missed that. Fucking hell. Dude, well, that was nice. Good game, wow. I gotta save this one. I've never had that one happen before. Okay, så gitar link keyboard download. Ja. Okay. Actually, that was so nice. I think I might just have to play another one. Oh, that is a very pretty mating pattern. I've not seen that one before. Chef's kiss. I consider that an auspicious start to the stream when is usually my problem when I play chess and try to comment on it at the same time is that I can only concentrate on one thing and it ends up not being the chess. Okay, let's see. What have we got in the world of reaction fodder here? Oh, yeah, that turned out to be rubbish. Let's take that off. Yeah, I did that last night. We can skip that. Oh, we haven't finished that. That's one that is so long that I've decided to divide it up. But I think I might just play another game of Rapid for the moment. Unless you have strong feelings about GeoGuessr or anything like that. But... Oh, nice. That's always a good sign. Alexei. 28 роз. Oh. Okay, gonna get that nice old Botfinix setup going. Now we have to wait and see if this bishop is planning on coming here, because then there's a little detour. Oh, yeah, that's what I was expecting. Okay, so we're gonna see maybe knight g4, and actually, wait. The knight's in the wrong place for knight g4. Okay, hold on. How's that supposed to work? Oh, that's the idea. Got it. Right. Okay, fork the queen and the bishop. And make good things happen. Yes, yes, that's the way you want to do it. Get that queen out of there and avoid hanging the bishop. Really, one of the real keys to chess when it comes down to it is finding ways to stay in the most familiar positions possible. So the more familiar it is, the easier it is to know what the hell you're doing. Okay, let's take that. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. Where are you from again? I'm sure you told me last time, but I'm just really crap at remembering these sorts of things until I've heard it 6 or 7 times. Get shot 2 up. Brush back that bishop. And next thing, we're gonna castle, I think, unless something really exciting happens that warrants delaying that. Because either we're gonna see this taken here, and then I just take back, and then I need to get this up on d3 to get the setup I want. Ah, okay, that's cool. There we are. Yes, no, we're not going to let that knight take up a position on b4. Ah, shit, that wasn't great. So now this pawn is hanging, and there's not a whole lot of damage that can be done that way, though. Okay, remove the pin. Let me just make sure. Sometimes I've been having problems with like latency with the chat, so I'm just going to have a quick look and make sure that I'm not experiencing a problem with latency with the chat right now. Ah, okay, good. No latency with the chat. There we go. No interest at the moment in closing up that F file that I just spent a great deal of time opening up. Okay. That's handy. Okay. Now, what shall we do? Just bring that rook back to where it belongs, since it's really kind of done with what it was doing. Actually, I push b4 and then stick my pawn there. Then I can x-ray this rook. It'll be up the exchange, that wouldn't be bad. Lose the bishop here, but... no, well that doesn't work now. But this does. Okay. Actually. Okay, that is... Knight is pinned for the moment. And actually, for the foreseeable future, really. Okay. Okay. Well, 2 minutes up on time. Alexis is 1 pawn up on material. What do I want to do here? Well, pin this pawn. And then perhaps see where we can go from there. That wasn't great. Hmm. Okay, so what are we doing here? That was not a great moment just now, but it is recoverable. With the queen on g4, though, I can't do what I was hoping to do, which was to go take on g7, and then maybe move the bishop to g8, and then just mate with the queen, but having the queen there completely ruins that plan for the moment, or at least postpones it. Okay, adding a defender to g3, which is not bad because I want to protect this whole pawn situation I've got going on there. Okay, I can do that, since this pawn is no longer hanging. Bishop pair for the win. And that redresses the material balance a bit. Well, it did, temporarily. Okay, and Elixir is running out of time here as well. 1 minute and 23 seconds, I got 3 minutes and 50. Yes, that would be the approach, I suppose. Oh, hold on. This rook is undefended. So have a fairly advanced passed pawn at this point, right here. And that could potentially make things a little bit interesting, especially now Alexei is down to less than 30 seconds. Ooh. Как поступишь, Алексей? Ooh. Просто так отдаешь. Yeah, saw that one coming. Oh, hey. Good game. Dobrая партия. And now, I think we're going to move over for a little bit to the world of reaction fodder and get back to Xander Hall explaining why, basically, he thinks that the left should just let anybody who says that they're an ex-Nazi and anyone who's uncomfortable with that should just fuck off. And yeah, how he's actually supposedly an ex-Nazi himself, although I really think the X is kind of exaggerated. I think he's, if anything, slightly milder fash, but still fash. Okay, so let's move over for here for a bit. Frustrating debate with a stubborn boomer. And there's a fucking meme that's jumped too many sharks already.
What if they personally know the Nazi and they know what they have done? You know, like what if they're just like, man, that person has done some fucked up shit.
Okay, and so what this guy he's arguing with here is saying is the whole thing is he's saying is there any moment, what is the standard, he's asking Xander Hall here, is there any moment where he would say that somebody really was not X enough that the left should not allow them in? And so far in this discussion, he has not really had any standard on that. Although except for some big stuff about, oh, well, it's their actions. Well, that doesn't really clear it up.
And that's some. And I don't think you should be splashing people like that too. Go on there and be like, this Nazi is like, boot stomped people and done all this shit. I mean, you try not to do that because you do want it, but it's like, man, some of these leftists really have been, beat the shit, and like, it's been bad, man. It's like they're not just little pig puncher edgelords that have been funny online and like
Why do you keep saying pig puncher edgelords? What are you talking?
Well, no, yeah, because he doesn't take you seriously, Xander Hall. Nobody takes you particularly seriously because you're just a little twat.
That's what you were when you were just a little, like kid. I mean, I guess it wasn't that long ago, but just how you were when you were a pig puncher. It's like, you weren't that bad, man. You weren't even racist, really.
Well, he's made up for that, as we saw a couple of weeks ago. He's pretty racist now.
I was definitely racist.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it. Like, you still are. I mean, the whole thing where you explain that decolonization is the same thing as white nationalism, and use white nationalist talking points to explain why decolonization is a bad thing. Yeah, that was pretty fucking racist. So yeah, I mean, I have to agree with Xander Hall. I mean, not only was he racist, but he still fucking is. So on this, Xander Hall and I are of one mind.
You thought some things, but you really weren't.
Wait, do you think spamming
the N-word?
Wait, hold on. Did you actually watch my entire video?
Yeah, I did. I went and rewatched the
part where I was in Discord servers just for the meme, posting a video of extremely racist memes and laughing about a video of because I thought it was edgy humor of a young black kid getting run over by a train.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, that's rancid as fuck. And now he's figured out a way to be a racist without being edgy about it.
Laughing at it. I didn't know that it didn't come off that you were actually posting that stuff. It seemed like you were kind of in the same server where that stuff happened.
Yeah, and I
And
was
I'm
like,
not
haha,
saying-
yeah,
that
edgy
doesn't make you a
memes.
Nazi.
That makes you racist.
That doesn't.
That makes you racist. That is a
Okay,
racist action.
but a lot of people
It's
do
so
racist
weird because
shit.
like you're simultaneously.
Yeah, okay. This is going to be awkward because I feel like he's about to have a point, and I really didn't want him
like
to.
you're trying to like. It's so weird. I don't actually understand where your motivation or your logic is coming from because you're.
Oh, I get it, because I get what his motivation and his logic is, really, thinking about it. He has to minimize how racist Xander Hall was, and, well, really is, in order to justify the fact that he's uncomfortable with letting X-Fash into left spaces, but he still watches Xander Hall, so he has to obviously trivialize Xander Hall's bullshit. And that's what he's doing. And of course, Xander Hall, I don't think, is going to manage that.
You're actually trying to sugarcoat the terrible
Oh, transphobic shit in the chat. Of course it is.
shit that I believed, while simultaneously trying to like gaslight me into believing there's some hypothetical fake reformed Nazi out there.
Oh, there isn't a hypothetical one. There are lots of real fake reformed Nazis out there, like Matthew Heimbach. He was on that grift just recently from the Traditionalist Workers' Party, trying to sidle up, and then fucking, God, who was it who was trying to help him sort of rehabilitate his image and actually managed to be more anti-Semitic than him? Was David Rovix, that's who it was. Yeah, this is a thing. I mean, like, the fact that he's acting like this is somehow a bizarre idea that fascists sort of try to sidle up to left spaces and pretend to be on side when they're really not. That's a thing that happens a lot, actually.
That knew some leftists that could be made uncomfortable by their presence in some Discord server. Like, you're simultaneously
He's acting like this is some really weird, bizarre, out there, frictionless plane, neoclassical economics grade hypothetical here. It isn't. It is a real thing. It happens a lot. He's an example of it.
coding the terrible shit that I believe,
How many times?
and then
How many
making up
times
some
have you? How many times?
hypothetical.
Okay, fine. How many times have you banned somebody out of your, a stupid ass? You just banned them out, let them come back in, and had to re-ban them for like permanent. And stuff.
Wait,
how many
wait,
times
wait,
does that
wait.
happen with these?
How
Nazis?
many have I
All-
with Nazis? Oh, I permaban. When I
Well, how do you know that they're not?
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to doubt that. Just judging from some of the shit that I see going up in his chat, his standard on who's a Nazi is pretty lenient.
Because they say typically
don't-
because they're saying things like the N-word or harassing trans people in the chat.
Oh, like somebody was doing that just now in the chat, was taking the piss out of trans people.
That's what they do.
Okay.
In my Discord, in my chat, you can't know what someone believes.
You will ban
look at their
you will ban these
behavior.
Nazis and never let them come back in, even though they're better.
Oh no, well, I mean, if they come back and they
Oh, here we go.
and they tell me like, hey, I believed in really bad shit. I've unbanned people for that before, and they've been fine.
Well, fine by his standards, but the thing is that Xander Hall isn't fine.
And I haven't had any issues with those people. But I don't have any tolerance. When someone comes in and they start
Oversimplifying all
spamming
this.
the N-word, they just get permabanned.
Oh, okay, so that's what it takes. Okay, so that's one thing that that's one fash thing that will get you kicked out, is if you spam the N-word.
Wait, how
and
else
that's
would you
fine.
figure it out? How else would you figure
How
it
many
out?
how many people did a light one got pushed back into the thing and then spam the N-word? How many people did something kind of screwed up, got done, and then came back and then permaban? That's happened. It had to happen because
Not
they're
by
very-
me. As a
they're
matter of
not
fact,
even considered
basically
very
all my
deceptive.
mods.
See, the problem with the premise of this debate is that this guy accepts that Xander Hall is actually reformed, and there's really no reason to believe that Xander Hall is actually reformed. I mean,
my
I
mods-
honestly don't know what he was like before, but he is not. I mean, he isn't reformed now. In another one of the first video of his that I looked at, it was him using white nationalist talking points to argue in favor of colonialism.
It's permaban. We don't do any like temp bans in
Okay,
my chat
all
or on my
right.
server.
Or
It's
maybe
all permas.
I didn't know. I didn't know that like getting banned once was permaban.
Oh,
I had no idea,
getting
so.
and getting unbanned requires like a direct message to me or a moderator, and it's up to that moderator or me's discretion or admin, their discretion whether or not to unban them. And typically, you need a damn good excuse to get unbanned. Like you have to like for me at least, when I unban people who've done bad shit in the past, like hey. Like 5 months ago, I said the N-word in your chat, and I was like a shitty edgelord. But I ended up watching more of your videos, and
Okay. So if you set it up in the phrase, yeah, you phrase it in the form of sucking up to Xanderhall, you're likely to get back.
I didn't realize how shitty my beliefs are. But yeah, and if they like explain to me that they're cool now, and I bring them in, and they do some shit, and they come in, usually I've never had a case where that's happened, and it's been a problem, and they've been bad. Usually it's every case that I can.
That's because if they're learning it from your videos, Xanderhall, then they know how to act right to your standards. And it's actually not all that hard to meet Xanderhall's standards.
Think of.
God, this is so.
Fine. There's been no issues, no complaints whatsoever. They haven't done anything bad. But if that happened, if they came in and they lied and they just started doing bad shit again, they would get banned. Even if it was in private. If I found out like behind the scenes in some other server, they're like saying the N-word or something, I'll ban them. If I find out about that.
Okay. I mean, then maybe I just had a bad.
Sorry, can you say that again? You cut out.
Maybe I just had a bad example, I guess, because I thought that maybe you let more people back in and then had to reban them, and I.
Well, no, he doesn't seem to reban them. I mean, there's plenty of dodgy shit in his chat. Just I'm sort of every time I just glance over there.
Maybe I just didn't understand. So I
think
just didn't understand how much permanent ban.
There is a core to our disagreement that we need to tackle right now. How do you know if someone's a Nazi?
That's what. Yeah, that's the question that he already asked Xanderhall in the first part of this that we looked at, and Xanderhall never really gave a good answer.
Don't.
You don't.
Well, what do you? Well, you don't ever. It's a permanent unknown. I'm not necessarily following this reasoning. I find it's usually pretty easy to tell.
So you believe that to know someone's a Nazi?
Only if they've done things. Yeah, but you can't. There's plenty of Nazis that you don't know are Nazis.
Wait, how would you?
They'll never
so
admit it.
If someone who, let's take someone who won't admit they're a Nazi, how can you have a pretty damn good idea they're a Nazi?
Okay, let's see if he can tackle this, because I've got an answer to that, because I've spent a long time studying these pricks. It actually isn't that hard. You just have to know. I mean, people's language actually gives them away. It's not just a matter of like what conscious language choices they use. When you listen to the words people choose in certain cases, you can hear where they've been hanging out, who they've been talking to, what they've been reading, what sort of, what circles they normally move in. I mean, like, see, we've got a guy in the chat right now who's talking about woke scolds. Well, I mean, that's somebody who spent a lot of time around the far right, because that is far right language right there. I immediately have my doubts about somebody. I wouldn't say just because of, for the most part, just because of one far right buzzword, but it's something that immediately will make my ears perk up. So yeah, I mean, there are certainly ways to tell if you've paid attention. And people's language is kind of my thing. I speak 20 of them. I'm a translator, I'm a writer. Language is my thing. And when you look at the language people use, you can tell a whole lot about them. Especially if you know, like, the sort of special terminology that gets developed in certain circles, any kind of social group, no matter what kind it is, will eventually develop some of its own terminology, a certain shorthand and things. And if you pay enough attention to that, you can generally tell what kind of people somebody's running with.
start either writing things or saying.
Exploit a social media platform in the sense of like trying to set up and monetize a fucking YouTube channel like that, and lecture other people about leftist politics. Or yeah, I mean, definitely, I immediately have some serious side eye to anyone who's going to start, who like admits who that they completely fucked up in such a comprehensive way that they ended up with the fash, and then decides that they're going to set up a fucking YouTube channel or a podcast or whatever to lecture leftists on politics. It's like, hold on, you. Yeah, who's I'd not heard of Theron Meyer, but yeah, I mean, I would say that it is appropriate not to just immediately sort of slow down and realize it's time to be listening a lot more than talking. The minute somebody realizes that who fell for the far right and then realize they fucked up, they need to they need to just chill and sit down and listen to people explain why shit's fucked up and ask a lot of questions and listen to the answers and not be lecturing anyone else. C16 is the one that made transphobic harassment actionable, right? Oh, right. Okay, yeah, that's the one I was thinking it was. Jordathan? Oh, yeah. Okay, I've never heard of her, but okay, yeah. That's the nicest thing I ever heard about Jordan Peterson. To be honest, that he's such a fuckwit that somebody decided to change sides just to not be along with him.
Nazi shit, but a lot of them don't.
A lot of them do. They
A lot of people.
Do you know what dog whistling is?
No, 100%. And barely. There's a lot of Nazis that don't even dog whistle. They don't even really say anything, So
see,
they're Nazis, but they literally do nothing that Nazis do. They don't do any like direct action, Nazi direct action, or whatever. They don't spam.
Okay, see, and this is where I immediately kind of doubt this. I mean, this guy has not demonstrated a very, I will say, acute analysis of these things to begin with that he's debating with. And the thing is, there are dog whistles and there are dog whistles, and people have seemed to have forgotten to a great extent, including people who tend to be pretty good at not getting these things wrong. These sorts of references. Why it's called a dog whistle. The whole point of a dog whistle is that nobody but dogs can hear it. So, I mean, what somebody who isn't very well versed in the sort of terminology that these various sectors of the far right use is not necessarily even going to notice that somebody's dog whistling. Like, I've had this happen a lot, where I'll be like, yeah, that guy looks dodgy. Look at this shit that he's saying. And people will be like, oh, you're just language policing or something like that. Let's give him a chance. And I kind of give him a chance, but I'm kind of watching pretty carefully because I've already seen a few signs just in the terminology, just in the sort of issues they want to talk about. And yeah, then it turns out, yep, fash. I can't actually think of a time where I have stuck my neck out that far to say, yeah, I think that person's fash, and it turned out I was wrong. Because I don't do it often, but when I do it, I've got very concrete reasons, and it's almost always about their terminology. Because it just gives you away. Because it's very unconscious, and it tells you where you're hanging out.
Slurs or do anything that you would associate with racists or Nazis or whatever, then like
you do
at that point, what's the harm? Spam slurs and stuff like that? Yeah. When I was a reactionary, yeah.
You did?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, when I was
maybe you were okay. That was not in your video and stuff. So to me, and like that video you made, it seemed like you didn't go down the rabbit hole too far. You know, because you didn't make.
Yeah, this guy keeps on trying to trivialize how much of a prick Xander Hall started out as. And I think it's entirely to do with the fact that he has to square the fact that he's engaging with Xander Hall with the fact that he is very uneasy about trusting somebody to claim to be an ex-Nazi.
Mention like 4chan, like anything like that, and how really deep you can go. You know, so
do you think 4chan's like the only? Maybe it's because like I don't know how internet savvy you are, but trust
or
me,
Minecraft,
there are
Minecraft.
trust me, okay? The fucking Discord servers I was hanging out in were a lot fucking worse than 4chan, okay?
And you see, here's the thing. This is another thing that I would say that anyone who was Fash and is trying to get out of that and wants to show good face, show comrades that they're for real, one thing they need to do is unpack all of that. Names of the Discord servers, you know, any kind of access credentials, stuff, stuff that only insiders necessarily know that can be used in order to keep a closer eye on these people. And if, like, he ought to be just advertising the fucking credentials and everything that he has for these Discord servers, so that I mean, not just the the credentials can be changed, and of course the Discord servers can as well, but that also is a bit of a pain in the ass if you have to up stakes and set up a whole new server or whatever. So, I mean, to me, that is part of the standard. And what's fucked up about the way Xanderhall's approaching it is there's really nothing. There's nothing he's said that suggests that Nazis have to prove themselves to anyone, like ex-Nazis. And that's a pretty convenient posture to take when you are one.
Trust me, Discord communities, Discord
How are you
servers,
doing, by
especially,
the
like,
way,
smaller,
Andromeda?
tight-knit ones I was in, they are able to get away with a lot more stuff than 4chan can get away with.
Good to see you here.
Because 4chan's a public message board. The Discord servers
Oh, hold on, I should probably turn this up a bit. Yeah, otherwise, when I clip this thing, I'm gonna end up with having to re-normalize his voice, and that's just a huge pain in the ass.
I was in were these small, tight-knit communities where beliefs and ideas could fester and spread.
Right. That's where most of it gets done. I understand.
See, and that's precisely the stuff that, you know, ex-Fash need to be very detailed about and disclose. Because those kind of small, tight-knit communities that are not necessarily completely on the radar of anyone, that's the sort of stuff that anti-fascists need to be keeping an eye on.
It was more personal.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, and that really wasn't as clear on your video, so now I understand that, yes. Okay.
Yeah, maybe I could have made that more clear, but then again, it was a very long script, and I spent days making it. But okay.
Yeah, this is just what I got from your. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So
it seems like you probably don't know about this concept, but there's a very important thing that we as like online leftists have to do.
We as online leftists, okay, Steve Buscemi might be coming.
Inductive reasoning, because you can never actually know what someone believes. For example, you don't know that I'm a leftist. Nobody watched.
Yeah, in fact, having watched him talk quite a bit, yeah, I mean, there's absolutely nothing about his behavior that would remotely clue me into the idea that he's a leftist. There's nothing about what he says, there's nothing about anything, really, except that he occasionally will say shit like, "we leftists."
Watching right now knows that I'm well, my girlfriend does, but nobody watching right now knows that I'm a leftist. The only way that you can have a reasonable understanding of what I believe is what I say
and what you say sucks.
What I do. I've dedicated a considerable amount of my life to advocating for leftist causes.
Well, like colonialism.
If I was secretly not a leftist and I was like secretly a Nazi or something, I'd be pretty fucking bad at it, right?
Well, actually, see, you'd be pretty fucking good at it as well, because the thing is, what he's also ignoring here, because he pretends it's this wild out there hypothetical, is that Fash actually, I mean, there's this whole thing where I mean, and generation after generation fast try to do this, where they will try to sort of sidle up to the left and they'll start talking, oh, we're beyond left and right. And um, look at all the things that we've got in common. Like, you're for Palestinian rights, and we really don't like Jews, for example. We could work together totally. It's all the same thing. Some dickhead leftists will fall for this eventually. And one day they wake up and they go to a meeting of their organization, whatever it is, and it turns out it's just fash at this point. They've just sort of taken it over. They've taken up housekeeping. It's like on The Sopranos, that episode. Yeah. I mean, ex-TERFs tend to be really, really pissed off, I've noticed. They're like, holy shit, they just, at the people that they were taken in by. Although then again, you see TERFs actually getting pissed off, like fucking that fake goth who actually sort of pioneered the idea of trying to form coalitions with the Christian right and MRAs. Was freaking out because these British TERFs were working with the Heritage Foundation, and it's a little bit Spider-Man meme.
The point that I'm making is you can never know what someone's thinking. You have to look at their behaviors and what they say and use that, what is available to you, the evidence available to you, to determine what you believe that person thinks.
Okay. Let's see where he takes this, because so far, that's reasonable summary.
So if you are suspicious someone might be a Nazi, look at what they say and do. If they're saying and doing things that are Nazi-like, then you probably have a good reason to believe they're a Nazi.
Like if they equate decolonization to the Holocaust, for example.
But if someone says, I used to be a Nazi and I'm not anymore, do you understand why it's not a good argument to say, show me where they're not a Nazi?
And here we go. Except it is a good argument, because you should be expecting some proof, because Nazis actually have been known to lie. They have been known to be kind of deceptive now and then. If I want to believe that somebody is not fash anymore, I mean, somebody said, who knows... Pussy church. Wait, so... Okay. Well, I don't even... quite know what I just read. The Pussy Church. Okay. But, I mean, maybe this was an exchange you were even in on. It was on Twitter. It's the only reason I started watching Xena the Warrior Princess. Somebody said, you know, if somebody wants to be believed as a former fascist, they need to do, like, Xena the Warrior Princess levels of atonement and proving themselves, or something like that. And I think that's about right. There are things that somebody could do that would preliminarily satisfy me that they're not a Nazi anymore. And pretty much all of them involve comprehensively burning those bridges by helping us out in ways that harm their old comrades.
You can't prove that.
But that's not my point at all. My point is
that's exactly what you asked me with that one person.
No.
From that
No,
tweet.
the point is to well, that's a little bit different, but that's maybe kind of a point I was arguing. But my main point is the fact that when you say that person has said, I'm good now, Xander Hall's like, great, you're welcome in my community, and somebody that maybe been verbally assaulted by him, maybe, you know, something like that, they don't feel comfortable, they have to go. You're like, you can just go.
Yeah, and he said that, and that's fucked up, too. Because, we see, one of the other things, if you are an ex-Nazi who's trying to come good, is you don't get to specify the standards on which leftists accept ex-Nazis into their communities. You don't. That's not what you get to do. You see, that's the exact opposite of what you get to do. You get to sit down and fucking listen. And take notes and ask questions and listen to the answers. and realize that you seriously fucked up and that your political judgment has already been revealed as comprehensively suspect, and that you shouldn't be telling anyone what's what. So yeah, this idea that if leftists are uncomfortable with the presence of a purportedly ex-Nazi, that the leftists should leave, I mean, that's a great way to just kind of turn entire communities over to fash. What is the pussy church?
So I think what it is there's a fine line with you, like, gatekeeping, even with the people that have on the left that have screwed up. You know,
it's not
like,
gatekeeping. I'm leaving it completely up to the discretion of those involved. That is a personal situation. If somebody
see how you look when you're like,
no,
this other person's
it's reverse
gatekeeping. If you have a
gatekeeping.
problem with them.
Yeah,
oh
absolutely.
God,
it's the same as if somebody. It's the same as if there was just some other reason why two people in my Discord don't like each other, or one person doesn't like the other person. I'm not banning.
That's not the same thing. That is not the same thing. It isn't just like a personality conflict. One person doesn't like another person. And it's not necessarily the same thing as a leftist fucking up. We're talking about, the example this guy gave was, let's say, the ex-Nazi who wants to join our wonderful little leftist space that Xander Hall has somehow made his way into, is some prick who in the past, that he's supposedly distancing himself from, actually beat the shit out of one of the members of the group, and they are traumatized by the experience, and they do not actually trust this person. What Xander Hall said is that person, not the one who did that, but the person who's uncomfortable, needs to just leave. So it's reverse gatekeeping. The Pussy Church of Modern Witchcraft, I have to say, I mean, the name is kind of cool. Sounds like ambivalent information about the founder, but it's a neat name.
Banning the person that the other person doesn't like. That's not like breaking the rules because an ex-Nazi used to believe a thing and someone's not cool with that because they have a personal disagreement.
It's not because they used to believe a thing. The example he gave was that an ex-Nazi did some shit. Actually beat somebody up. Actually harassed somebody. Actually attacked somebody. And that people were uncomfortable as a result of that, and he said they can go. It wasn't just he used to believe some shit. I mean, here he goes, like, actually trivializing the act of having been a Nazi.
That is up to either of them to decide to leave that situation. If it becomes a problem, like there start being arguments and shit like that, I'll deal with it. I'll be like, hey, stop arguing with each other, all right? Get that shit out of here, right? But if no one...
Except it's not just people arguing, it's a completely different thing, but yeah, I mean,
it's breaking rules?
Let's just do a hypothetical. Let's just do a hypothetical here.
Sure, let's do a hypothetical. Give me one.
Okay, so ex-Nazi that used to spam the N-word, do all that stuff, whatever, at this person who is in your chat, okay? Yep. That ex-Nazi says, I'm all better now. They come into your chat. That person that they used to harass.
This is just a milder version of the first hypothetical.
That person's like, I don't trust these people no matter what. Which, honestly, they have a right to do that, especially if you've been traumatized. Like,
damn right.
I don't disagree with that. Their trauma and their uncomfortableness is valid.
But you're saying now that ex-Nazi can say, and that other person, the person of color or whatever, they can just go if you don't like the Nazi.
That is what he said.
You know, so you're basically tossing the leftists out for this person that has verbally assaulted this person.
And in the previous hypothetical, actually, where he first said this, he was tossing them out for somebody who physically assaulted them. This is, as I said, a milder version of the previous hypothetical that we saw the last time we visited this video.
You know, and you're just like, no, you're more welcome than you. So
yeah,
you don't see how bad that looks.
Wait, no one's unwelcome.
Except everybody's welcome, but the person who is traumatized by the asshole who now claims to be better is the one that ought to just leave. That's an interesting concept to welcome.
I'd like an apology to occur, but no one's unwelcome.
You're just like, you don't like it.
No one's unwelcome.
Get out of here.
It is completely, that
They
is a
are
personal,
unwelcome.
that person, if assuming that person is genuinely not a Nazi anymore, they aren't engaging in any Nazi behavior or saying any Nazi shit.
They just have to say it.
That's,
They just have to say it. They just have to say it.
no,
And
they
not
don't just
say
have
any
to say it.
more
Wait,
N-words.
do you think if they just said I'm not a Nazi anymore and then started doing Nazi shit, that it would be like, well, they said they weren't a Nazi anymore.
Well, I mean, again, Xander Hall still does some Nazi shit. Xander Hall's got a very, very narrow narrow definition of Nazi shit.
No, it's about what they do.
Okay, but they have done something that's really, really messed up. Never had to pay any type of price for it.
I don't
Just
believe
said,
in having
"I'm
to
not
pay
a
a
Nazi
price
anymore."
for something. I don't believe in order for
Well, I
someone
mean,
to be a good
I mean,
person, they have to
or-
pay the
okay,
price
or
for
to
that.
have-
Well, which is, again, a convenient view for him to take. He sort of trots out restorative justice as a discussion ender. He doesn't show any comprehension of what it means. It's just when anyone says that maybe this person, maybe a hypothetical person isn't actually trustworthy, or that suggests that people might have a right to say that that person isn't welcome, then he starts talking about restorative justice. I mean, yeah, so this not believing in people paying any kind of a price is very convenient for him because he doesn't seem to have paid one.
have an
think they
arc or
did.
whatever.
In fact, he seems to be this has been a profitable decision for him as far as I can tell.
Wait, have you
Okay,
ever
maybe
done it?
that's
Have
not
you ever
like a-
done like a bad thing in your life that you regret?
Much, but
Like, there's
No,
nothing you can think
not
of?
really. Mm.
Okay, man, you must be like a fucking flawless human being then. Damn, okay.
I'm definitely not flawless, but everything I've done is to myself and not to other people.
You've never like
So,
been
there you
like
go.
you've never hurt somebody emotionally or anything.
Yeah, this is okay. I mean, and he's just taking this in a completely ridiculous direction. Because we're not just talking about, your average fucking up. Your average, you said something you really regret. You did something you probably shouldn't. You misunderstood. You misjudged somebody and you fucked up and you did something that hurt them and you feel really bad about it or whatever. We're not talking about the normal shit that people normally do in their lives. We're talking about the sort of fuck up that only a tiny percentage of the population, even amongst the asshole population, actually make. This is not just some normal thing that people just kind of do. This is like the absolutely statistically the worst political and moral judgment a person can exercise, and it's actually impressive how rare it actually is that somebody exercises it in this way.
Anything like that? You've never
No.
never really never
Yeah.
like been mean to somebody at
God,
school
this is so
when you were
disingenuous.
younger? Never.
No.
Wow.
No, actually, I was actually your stereotypical SJW, and this person you think is just like a natural leftist and blah blah blah. Like
You were morally lucky. You were
I am.
essentially
Okay, I mean, and now I'm really unimpressed with this guy because that's gotta be bullshit. And I immediately don't like the unironic use of SJW.
Yeah,
going
I
into your
am that
beliefs.
person that you are saying. You
Yeah,
don't,
you
don't
were
want to believe it.
It sounds like, at least from what you're telling me, you're morally lucky. You were essentially born into your beliefs.
Oh, I'm out in the
You
middle
lucked
of
out.
nowhere.
Oh, okay, fuck off. First of all, the idea that if you're born into your beliefs, whatever the hell that exactly means, you're morally lucky is an interesting one. Because the thing is, most of the people I know who have actually ended up on their own in their lives, without actually a whole lot of direct prompting, moving towards leftist beliefs, drawn to them, are people who dealt with all sorts of fucked up, oppressive, abusive, traumatic shit growing up and throughout their lives. In fact, that's one of the reasons that there's so much difficulty, I think, often interpersonal difficulty within the left, because one of the main ways people get to the epiphany that this society we live in is fundamentally wrong is that they've in some way ended up on the receiving end of its wrong. So to call that morally lucky from his little fucking bully pulpit, fuck off.
Surrounded by all. Dude, you don't even know where I live, man.
The morally lucky is a phrase? Okay, what's the context? Who was saying that? Because this is the first time I've actually heard that term. Morally lucky. Fucking hell. So the idea is that that's like a moral victory almost. I mean, like, because a moral victory is when you lose. And morally lucky apparently is when actually you're completely fucked over. Oh, does he? Yeah, I suppose it's a very convenient term for him to have. Jesus. Yeah, I mean, because it's a way of making it sound, it's like kind of it's the Konami code for privilege discourse where you say, yeah, okay, I'm privileged in all those ways, but that makes me morally unfortunate. I mean, seriously. That is some just absolutely convenient discourse right there. And I think we're going to give Xanderhall a rest since we're moving in on the last 10 minutes of the stream, and maybe just chat a little bit, maybe play a little bit of Rapid again. Yeah, I mean that is just an impressive term, really. Morally lucky. So, like, the idea. I mean, I really hope this term was not translated into German yet, because the last thing that certain people over there need is a way to call people who actually are ancestrally on the uncomfortable side of German fascism somehow morally lucky. But I could totally see somebody using it that way. Garanjik. God. I mean, that is just the most... Yeah, it is. It is totally, because it's all about the idea that somehow, by being fucked over enough that you realize that certain things are wrong, like, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's easy for you to know racism's bad. You were a victim of it. And, that's something that's fucking privilege. Yeah, I mean, it's the other way around it too. It's the way of actually short-circuiting that and saying, yeah, no, actually, the more oppressed you are, the more privileged you are, because you're morally lucky. God, what a fucking term. That is impressive. Oh, Jesus. Okay, is Karanjik going to notice that Queen F f7 is not a great move at this point. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's basically like white man's burden bullshit when you get down to it. You know, we have the burden of oppressing all of these people. Yeah, I mean, they're fortunate they don't have to make these hard moral decisions to be horrible people. It's God. I mean, that is the sort of discourse that I would say immediately makes me doubt that somebody is ex-fash. That's sort of just completely disingenuous maneuver. Because if you're actually on the side of fighting oppression, fighting exploitation, you don't need a concept like that. You need that concept if you want an excuse for not doing it. God, I mean, so basically, when he says he's an ex-Nazi, what he means is he has the game genie for liberal oppression discourse. God, that is just fucking impressive. Okay. Still equal on material. And everybody's still got the bishop pair. Morally, that is just... That is fucking chutzpah. This is where the concept... I mean, I'm going to use that the next time somebody asks me, what's chutzpah? It's like, well, it's when you're an asshole and you didn't actually... And you were born privileged, so you didn't actually realize why all that stuff was fucked up, and you come up with the idea that that makes you less fortunate. Yeah, that's chutzpah. Okay. Oh, no, wait a second. Yeah, I mean, they do inflict us with it. I mean, it reminds me, I forget who exactly said it, but, because you get a version of this in Germany as well, and somebody said, Germany will never forgive Germans will never forgive the Jews for Auschwitz. And it's the same kind of thinking that's referencing. The same sort of morally lucky kind of bullshit. Okay. God. Morally lucky. Okay. Okay. Not exactly sure what's even going on in this position. But I don't think this can hurt. Yeah, exactly. He just can't help it. I mean, of course, the idea is that supposedly he has helped it, but the thing is, every time he opens his mouth, you really do begin having to doubt that. Hello, Erica. Good to see you. All wrapping up here, really, but still. God, morally lucky. Somebody came up with that bullshit and patted themselves on the back when they did. That's oh, wait a sec. That's a completely different. Yes, I am. I am on YouTube. I'm on Twitch. And that's actually the full list at the moment. That's a totally different concept of moral luck from the one we've heard Xanderhall flogging just now. Because what he was saying moral luck is when, for whatever reason, you actually realize from the start that certain things are actually fucked up and horrible, that in fact are fucked up and horrible. Ah, well. Always nice, no matter what motivates somebody to arrive. Yeah, I mean, that definition actually fits. I mean, that's at least it makes it a more valid concept. But it's not, I mean, I don't know, Erica, if you were here to hear the usage of the term that we're here discussing, is that was a totally different concept. Yeah, I mean the definition you just gave makes it. I mean it seems like actually valid, which is nice. I like it when concepts are actually valid. Oh, shit. That wasn't good. In this case, he's like implying that this guy, this guy he's talking to said that he basically was born into his political beliefs. That he was born into being some kind of leftoid sort of person. For whatever reason, he didn't elaborate on that. As opposed to Xanderhall, who first, did the Nazi thing and then kind of worked out that was fucked up and decided not to continue doing it. And that was what Xanderhall was calling morally lucky. Where somebody is just sort of on the right side of things by default. Ooh, thank you. Okay, that makes my life a little bit easier. That's the thing about winning positions. This is why they're harder, because you start relaxing, and all of a sudden you miss things like that, and you hang a queen, and... Yeah, here the term moral luck was being used for somebody who supposedly, can't help being decent. It's like, the moral logic being applied is really remarkable. Okay, is there any way I can fork? Yeah, okay, well, I'm not exactly surprised to hear Xanderhall got a philosophical concept wrong. I can think of things that would shock me more than Xanderhall getting a philosophical concept wrong, to be honest. Okay. Positional luck is where you completely fuck up on the exchange and still end up with 4 connected passed pawns and a queen to the good. That's when you're positionally lucky. Oh, thank you. Even better. Oh, well, I guess not. It doesn't work as well as I was hoping. Okay, and good game. Okay, and with that, it is time for me to wrap it up. Nice to see all of you, including Coltron, who is the second time showing up. Always nice to see new people continue to come. And I'll be back Friday and Saturday next at the same time, and maybe we can watch and see what other philosophical concepts Xander completely fucks up the definition of. So have a good night, have a good rest of your weekend, and I will see you later.